This portion brought to you today by delicious mountain-grown Folgers. Mountain-grown for rich flavor. And
So you know, they don't call them black hats for nothing. And they show you who they are. They're always wearing black hats on their heads. You know, a couple of the things that the jinn, who were reptiles, a couple of the things that people don't know about what happens with a
February 27th.
jinn takes possession of a human host. One of the things that occurs is their hair falls out. Yeah, look into it. The Muslims talk about it. They talk about how they like black dogs too. They like to use black dogs. The owners will get a black dog, and the jinn can actually go from the human host into the black dog. Yep. Talk about that too. Which I found was ironic because Robin named his dog Bowie. Well, David Bowie was a reptilian jinn. He was a jinn. He practiced blue fire magic. David Bowie.
So does that make me David?
And so Robin named his dog Bowie. And Robin also lost his hair at a very young age. And another sign of jinn possession is rotted teeth. Their teeth rot out of their head. That's another sign of jinn possession.
See, I'll just go along with the script of what Steve's doing, because I don't need to convince my audience of anything one way or another, because the true audience that I needed to convince are the ones that, you're looking at one of them here. If it ever decides to get there. The guardian of the Aviv? Who's the Aviv? Aviv? Let me punch that up into gematria. Russia. Ray the Judge. I heard Ray the Judge as Ra, sun god. Ra, pronounced Ray. Steven James was talking about Ray, so I'll connect him with Ray. Russia. Who is a human angel. She is Christ returned as the lion. Aviv. Trump. So you're the protector of Trump, and Russia. And what else? Don't tell me you're the protector of the false prophet squad. You should really channel your thoughts.
Also, crack addiction, meth addiction, drug addiction. That's another sign of jinn possession.
I went over this one time before. Just for the record, for my normal subs that don't know, what the script is, that I grew up a poor child and I didn't really have direction. So it's not like I was forced to brush my teeth. just never really won. I'd rather just scrape the plaque off. So that started at a young age. And then I'd have to get fake teeth to cover to pull them out and get them replaced. And I never did smoke crack or heroin or meth. Even though in my Walmart video, people have told me that I'm smoking meth. And so far, I made $188 for remonetizing. So this is what it is: the 22,000.2. If you get like 22,000 views, then you get about almost $200. So basically, like 20,000. Well, no, that's not right, because altogether, I gotten like 40,000 altogether, but just with this one alone was that much. But they only deposit like 100 and some change in there. I forget how that works. That's just an estimated view. And my wife named my dog Bowie. I didn't know I was even in competition for playing David and Bowie.
Now the gin can stay with the person their entire life. Meth addiction, drug addiction, that's another side of gin possession.
Oh my God. I gotta get out of here.
Now the gin can stay with the person their entire life, okay, until the curse is fulfilled. That's another thing that I found interesting with the comparison with Robin to the gin. Another thing is that the Germans,
I'm too legit to quit,
experimented. All right, the Germans went to Antarctica.
Right, because that's where we're at now. I believe we're truly in Antarctica, and the Germans, they came over here, so that's where we're at.
Okay, they went there, so they discovered something when they were there, obviously. But the German Swiss, which is, Robin has been accusing me of having a Swiss bank account when I'm not the one that's a Swiss. All right? I'm not the Swiss. Robin is the Swiss. Robin is the German. All right?
Yeah.
German Polski. The German
Polskis. So my mom is a Polak, 100%. My dad was supposedly his twin died at birth. So I just tend not to believe it. But he was more Scottish. The name Tees, like Tees River over there in Scotland. And my mom's mom was 100% Polak, and my mom's dad was 100% Polak. So she was 100% Polish.
German Swiss Polski. All right. It's ironic that he can't see it. Well, Father says, and I shall turn
That Jonathan Kleck is my dad, the German.
them over to a reprobate mind. Okay, well, that's exactly what's happened to Robin. He's been turned over to a reprobate mind. Probably because he's never washed his sin. He's carrying his sin around, and his gin. He's carrying his gin around, which is running his mind. He's never been baptized, so he's never been washed. He's never.
So water doesn't do anything for you if you actually go and get baptized, because the thief on the cross, he didn't get baptized, and he was on the cross that day. You know, Paul. He was Saul at the time, but Paul was like, Lord, Jesus. He's called him Jesus, and then Jesus looked at him like, because the other one wasn't calling him Jesus, and then he asked him if you remember him. He said, of course, Saul, how can I not remember you? I'm going to turn your name into Paul.
Even been washed. He's never been
Right, Paul?
He's never accepted Jesus Christ into his life. He's never been reborn unless the man be born again.
Well, if you're talking about being inverted, like Jonathan Kleck's talking about, yeah, I never accepted that Jesus. If you're talking about the Jesus Christ that's being played out on YouTube, of course I never accepted Jesus. I'm the Antichrist.
He shall not see the kingdom of heaven. Okay, so to me, that has multiple meanings. Okay, so it even got Johnny Kleck over there, little German Johnny Kleck, which is Kleik, actually. Kleik is his real last name. It's been altered. So when I mean, obviously you have to use it by what is manifested on his birth certificate, obviously. But the Germans, during the time of Operation Paperclip, were spread all over the place. And the ones that served Hitler, I believe they had this 6 genome in them. I believe that Hitler made them all take this inoculation, or whatever you want to call it. All of the ones that served Hitler, even in the SS, which is probably one reason why Robin's license plate
The other
number on his
interpretation
Mustang equaled GSS 666. His Mustang equaled GSS 666.
I thought you said that meant gang stalking services before. Now you're saying it's German. Would you say? German something or another? You got to make up your mind, Steve.
Probably one reason why Robin's license plate number on his Mustang equaled GSS 666. Okay, German Stasi. You see, so it follows him. They're stained. They're stained with certain vices, Father said. Okay, well,
That'd be something if I really was a German and my parents aren't really who I thought they were, and then I come onto the scene and then I destroy my own people that set me up from the beginning. And almost 46 years ago, they started this thing with me, and it's been going on my entire life. Because the one thing I've learned is this.
Because it just so happened that unbelievers, people who know you're a Christian, are watching you. Here's another thing. They are watching you even when you don't know they're watching you.
Which means, are they watching you through your own eyeballs? Or is there so much surveillance everywhere that they're watching you?
Can I repeat that again?
Sure.
They are watching you even when you don't know they're watching you. When you keep that in mind, then you'd be more careful of your testimony. Look at 1 Peter chapter 2.
their name is also stained with certain vices. I look for perfect matches when I'm trying to confirm something. A perfect match is, it's so confirming. And then when you listen to them talk and how they turn things upside down, they proclaim this and they proclaim that. The more they talk, the deeper the hole gets. So Robin's done a lot of talking. Father says that the prudent man shall hold his tongue.
Right. Let me ask you this question there, genius. For prudent man, yes, it's true. A prudent man will hold his tongue, but don't take it out of context. When you're getting attacked by top Luciferians in the United States, leading head gang stalkers, you don't hold your tongue. You speak back. What do you think Christ did? You think he went around holding his tongue? Was he not a prudent man? He held his tongue when he was supposed to, and he didn't hold his tongue when he wasn't supposed to. Because if Christ held his tongue, how would anybody have ever known the truth? So if you look for perfect matches, 914 was made up by Steven James Dishon, and it was made up to put Robin Henry Tees. So the name Robin Henry Tees was created in gematria to be number 914, and then he built everything around that because everything in here is not good. Everything about it, getting taught a message, blood image, blood guilty image, filthy dreamer, fallen angel.
But he was, technically, I think he was telling you the truth.
Keep dreaming. Again, taking everything out of context.
That's like that was my portion of working with the Italian mafia, and then now I'm working with the Jewish mafia, and I really didn't even think that was. I thought Steven James was just kidding.
So if I worked for the Italian mafia, it was as a carpenter. If I worked for a Jewish mafia now, it's as a carpenter. And if I was working for the mafia, well, then like I told old Jeezy over here, gets his chicks for free. Old Hambone is whatever he calls me, he is. Whatever he accuses me of, I'm not, he is. Whatever he says he is, I probably am. So, because he wanted to know, should I forgive him if he asked? Ask what? Where's my freaking paychecks for working for a mafia? Because I got to be the brokest mobster on the planet. And by the way, is this how you treat your future boss, Steve? Yeah. Yeah, that is how I treat my future boss. And by the way, you just keep dreaming, boss. I told you your seat was reserved, didn't I? Yep. You sure did.
Now, I don't accuse anybody unless they judge me first.
That's true. That is part of your script.
Back in December 16, 2018, according to Steven James Dishon, as he said, I won't accuse you unless you judge me first. When I judge you righteously, you will start accusing me falsely.
I'm not talking about the ones that work for SJD. I'm talking about you guys that work with SJD. The ones that are starting to think about this stuff. That's all. Think about what you're doing and who you're working for. And why is he saying this stuff when you guys know that I'm the same person that I am off camera, on camera, 24/7. You guys follow me everywhere I go. You guys listen in at everything. You guys hear me. You see me. You watch me.
It so happened that unbelievers, people who know you're a Christian, are watching you. Here's another thing. They are watching you even when you don't know they're watching you.
Good.
The accuser, boy, he's slick. He's slick. He is slick.
Thanks, Steve.
So you gotta definitely be on your toes and understand what's happening. So here we go. Show you how dumb I am.
It's worth it.
That's the only thing that logically makes sense about why he would even say anything or even waste his time making videos about me.
3.5 years.
Why would you even waste time?
Almost.
Just let it go. Like, if it ain't true, it ain't true. Just let it go, right? But you waste a lot of time doing this about me, and people are trying to tell me to stop talking about you because it's pointless. But what you're doing is you're continuing to raise me up and put more accusations against me that I'm embracing your accusations because it's showing me how deep that I'm getting under your skin and how you're trying to prove to your colleagues that I don't know what I'm talking about, and this is why I have this job, or this is why I know this information. That's how he knew April 7th was the beginning of Wars and Rumors of Wars, guy, because he's
Back then, it was the beginning of Was it almost 4 years ago? Close to 4 years ago, but now it truly is, because you have the mainstream media talking about it, and you have the top YouTube channels that I've been associated with for these past few years, saying it's World War III is right here. We're here. This is it. 4, 3, 2, 1. This is it. Be still. Rabbit Henry Tees, know that I am Adam and David, Prince of Judah, says Steven James Dishon, who revealed the secret prophecy of the hidden Gematria Bible code.
So when you
Beware, Robin's a wolf in the hood. He likes to turn things upside down, just like them. They have taught him well, and he's being truthful about this part. That, man, it's electricity through my hand here. It's just, oh well, whatever. I'll have to just deal with it until I don't have to deal with it anymore. But he was the overdue champion over back before, and he is telling you the truth that I do turn things upside down because they were supposedly right side up, and they have taught me well.
timing of it is, I didn't think you were that slow. So when you bring me now,
Let's keep digging with true words.
now I'm getting credit. All right, look, I got credit for being a CIA snitch. I got credit for being, well, a false prophet by Steve's words. I take him as a high honor. And now I'm getting credit for being in the mafia, the Philadelphia mafia, that is. Because that's the only reason why I could get this job, is because, well, let's listen up to what I said.
The accuser, boy, he's slick. He's slick. He is slick. So,
Question, Steve, is to you is this, flat out. Who are you trying to kid anymore? Who are you trying to kid anymore?
To them talk and how they turn things upside down. You know, they proclaim this and they proclaim that. The more they talk, the deeper the hole gets. So Robin's done a lot of talking. Father says that the prudent man shall hold his tongue. You know. Now, I don't accuse anybody unless they judge me first.
I don't accuse anybody unless they rightfully judge me first. Just like my gang stalking website says. If anybody comes after me and tries to reveal the truth, I'm going to accuse them.
Me that I'm embracing your accusations because it's showing me how deep that I'm getting under your skin, and how you're trying to prove to your colleagues that I don't know what I'm talking about. And
once they judge me, it gives me the right to judge them back. But unless they have actually judged me, I'm not going to say anything negative. I might reveal something about individual.
So unless they say something. If you notice here, I was accused. I was trying to find where he literally said it. He said I'm part of a CIA or snitch or something along the lines. But not even a...
what the numbers mean.
Not even... So back in July 2nd, because here's how it works. Time to take a stand for SJD as I stuck up for you, Steve. Prove me wrong. Well, you only needed another 6 months to prove me wrong. 12:12. Shield of the Lion King. I mean, I can accept that you're the shield of the Lion King, like you protect the Lion King ironically enough, through your lies, Samuel, the prophet, Zeus, Yahweh, God of 1,000 names, salvation from hell. That's damn sure where we're at. Jesus said, I am that I am, the firstborn son. The get out of jail free card. Yeah, because when I go to jail for predicting the second 9/11 in Philly that Jonathan Clegg is responsible for, I'm pretty sure I may be going to jail, but the one that is Father said that I would be protected. Because when you ascend and descend, the real Father. So over here, even back in July 2018, almost 4 years ago, I even had Kim Jean on my radar. So Steve is the king that destroys all the sons of disobedience. The king in the behind the scenes world. Hidden son of Jesus, David, King David, on a crushing crusade tonight, most high. Hidden son. But he who endures to the end. That Steven James Dishon, Hashem. He who holds the key of the house of David, of Messiah, Jesus of Nazareth.
But it's not going to be a negative thing. But once they have issued a negative upon me, I will judge them. I'll start digging into their name. And if they
I'll punch it into that hocus pocus gematria book and add stuff to it and make them look bad, and I'll make me look good.
don't want to tell you their name, that's even more confirmation. That's more confirmation. It's like, why did Christ ask that man, that Gentile, what his name was?
What is your name, Steve? Is that your real name?
And the Gentile, the man that came out from the cave, and he said, my name is Legion, for we are many. Well, Legion. The jinn are many. They were here before Adam. They were on the earth before Adam. They're that reptilian disembodied spirit that was trapped here, exiled here. They were exiled. The jinn is a reptilian or serpent. The word reptilian isn't actually in the Bible, so it's hard to decode the word reptilian. Okay,
How do you
and it's
spell
also
that?
hard to decode the word reptile. Okay, but the word serpent, the word dragon, certain words that can be found in Scripture can be decoded.
How you spell it correctly?
Okay, that's why it's very, very important how you use words when you try to calculate. Is that number even worthy to be counted? Is the number of that word a confirming number, or does it just take you someplace into outer space?
Bingo.
That's the question. So, and if you don't think that I'm correct in what I'm talking about, the Father's scribes, the ones that were inspired by him to write true words, they used certain words to describe certain things. Okay, and I believe now, after decoding and ciphering gematria for so many years, and ciphering the King James Bible for so many years now, I believe that it really is actually a relevant thing.
I am breaking things up, though. That is true. Breaking up. Coming as a thief in the night. It's the same thing as burglarizing.
And I also believe that where Father says, do not be as the reprobates. Do not be backbiters and slanderers, accusers of your brethren. I believe that those that are
Jesus
of
over
that,
there. You guys know he's not really Jesus, and he knows that too. But you guys believe that he might have that special connection with Satan, where he has like this tremendous amount of power That's why he's been given authority here to
right
rule.
like that.
I'm just
They are the very epitome, the hypocrites that have crept in unaware, that have sowed. If you look at the gematria tables, I believe that those are the ones that have sowed weeds within the wheat. The Son of Man sowed the good seed. Okay? The good seed, the word pertaining to God, the things of God and of his name. Okay? So, and Jonathan Kleck says he's opened a little scroll. Jonathan Kleck hasn't opened any scroll. Jonathan Kleck is a reptile, a hybrid, a German hybrid reptile, leading other. The ones that are agreeing with him wholeheartedly are many of them, I believe, are part of his programming, and they're all in on it.
How come when I turn this Catholic prayer card upside down, it's the devil? You know, I was like, what is going on? And
Okay, that's what I believe now. There's a huge portion of people that are following after him, and I believe that those people are the very ones that are the workers of iniquity. You know, they proclaim to be righteous. They serve that angel of righteousness. They think that they're saved, and they're not saved because they weren't counted from the beginning. All right? And I believe that Father's children, the 144,000, are all part of the golden ratio. That's what I believe. They're all golden ratios, all of them.
Lou was something different. She was just something very different. And the night I got saved, I was with her, and I just kept telling myself, this is just too good to be true. It's too good to be true.
So if Lou was a man and turned into a woman, then that would be Lou. Or Lou was a woman and just went ahead and went with what Cain had sown inside of the woman in order to create the serpent inside of the woman, and then so the woman becomes male at the same time.
Yep, I believe that. I surely believe it.
Well, that's what it is then.
Yeah.
Is that another Jonathan Kleck that walked by? As soon as Kleck said he formed the darkness?
And the Lord God formed as a potter. The word is yatsar, as a potter forms clay.
We're rich. We're in need of nothing. That's kind of the way the Israelites were when they came out of Egypt. They were born on the dirt from the neighbors. They were rich, all right, had need of nothing now. But when Moses comes down off the mountain, he said they were all naked and didn't know. Just like Laodicea, naked and you don't know.
See, back then, only a year into YouTube, Steve had Stephen Benoon playing in the background. So that was a way of me heading over to Steve Benoon because he was talking. And when Steve was showing him, then it just shows that they're all connected together. Kind of like pretending they don't, you know, how people pretend they don't like each other.
That's why he says, I counsel for you the fire, you go and try to refine. That's a deep religion. That's very
Yeah. He's telling you, I am Yeshua. Steve's telling you, I am Yeshua, the Messiah, King of Kings, Lord of Lords. That's what he's telling you right there. And he's also telling you that he's the son of Adam, David revealed.
But anyway, that's kind of like what happens here. Sin comes in, but even if you have knowledge of good and evil, then they knew they were right.
You're going to let them kill me again. That's how stupid you people are.
Again.
Because you're so blind that you can't see.
They didn't know they were naked.
See, I already know. I'm just waiting.
Because why? They were
waiting
in His glory.
All right?
In the light
I understand
of God
You
Himself,
don't
the
understand
Spirit
it.
of God. But when
All
they
right?
sin,
Because I know who I
they
am,
lost that
and
life.
you don't. But you hate
Right?
your brother.
Now, but what
That's what
happens?
it is. And you're going to learn a very valuable lesson.
The second
See, he's talking to you guys that are like his flunkies, and he's telling you about what, you guys hate me because you're being deceived by your boss.
You're going to learn a valuable lesson in the kingdom.
It's like Peter will get up and tell you.
Right?
See, that's why I quickly recorded, because I knew he was going to take it down. It's already down. The video that he just made.
Peter, Paul, Rob.
Peter, Paul, Rob. As I'm saying, I will conclude that Paul is one of the thieves on the cross. Now, so why wouldn't Peter be the other one?
Sounds pretty familiar. Sounds pretty parallel. At one moment, murder in the heart, imprison anyone who's following that one, and here we are. He is the Son of God in the temple.
Peter, Paul, Rob.
This is where I believe that the Oak Island treasure is hidden, and I believe it's only 33 feet down, right in the middle. There's trees growing above it. It's the most treed area of the island. It'll be right in the area right there, because they came in and created it underneath. They didn't dig above. They created underneath. They came in from these points, okay, and they created it knowing exactly where it would be, and they built the tunnels accordingly. And I believe that the water traps are for all those suckers, those fools looking for fool's gold.
I concluded that Steve was showing us an X-ray of the host body serpent. That the way that the serpent came to Eve was to implant this inside, and then it's like a rollout fence, like a roll out and then roll out and then retract. He doesn't say who the two thieves are, but when Paul said, "I was crucified with Christ," then I would just take that as he was on the cross being crucified, meaning he lived just like Christ lived, just like the other thief lived. They all lived. They were just being crucified on the cross. Paul was called a false prophet, he was called a liar, false prophet. Christ called Peter Satan, and he's an offense, and he told him to get behind me, Peter. But Peter's the one that told Christ that, he's the one that said, he asked, who does people say I am? And Peter said, you are the Christ. And when they realize that you're the Christ, they're coming for you. They're gonna come and kill you, is what Peter said to Christ. And there's a St. Peter and Paul Basilica. And I haven't concluded that the other thief is Peter yet, but the ones being crucified, if you think of it like this, Christ said, Peter, I'm going to give you the keys to the kingdom of heaven. So you're going to have the keys to the kingdom of heaven. Peter will. Paul will go on preaching Christ crucified. Because you know why? Because he was crucified right beside him. So after he got down from the cross, he went and continued to preach Christ crucified. And Paul was given the kingdom of the keys to the kingdom. And upon this rock, I will build my church. So with those two being, if Peter has the keys to the kingdom, and Christ is being crucified, and Christ is going to give him the keys to the kingdom, and Paul said he was crucified with Christ, and in the beginning,
Part of God's plan of the salvation.
Okay.
Robin Henry T's Warren, Pennsylvania. He works for a dark Jewish mafia crime family. Maybe I do, but I'm just a carpenter. So whatever they do in the dark ain't on me. But truly, I'm just joking. This site is just for fun.
Okay, because I already know. It is a CIA psyop, and Robin is connected to the CIA. All right? He's some type of informant or snitch or FBI related. Okay, because I already know. It is a CIA psyop, and Robin is connected to the CIA. All right? He's some type of informant or snitch or FBI related. Oh my God. You know, I'm tired of hearing.
It's good luck proving this character defecating allegations, Steven James Dishon. Your Honor, Steven James Dishon's CIA allegations has put my life in danger, and now I have to live in fear. I mean, if I was scared. Steven's accusations need to be proved, and we all know that it's impossible to prove beyond a shadow of a doubt. Therefore, Your Honor, I demand a mistrial and for all charges to be dropped on me, Robin Henry Tees, and I won't press charges on Steven for defecating on my character or reckless endangerment. Furthermore, I demand to be reimbursed for losing a day's pay from being forced to show up here in the People's Court.